Welcome back everybody to another video of Mdunyelwa on your YouTube channel. Yeah guys, after a day after the dreadful season opener which we had yesterday, it was dreadful, it was disappointing, but enough said about that. I think I said enough yesterday on that video, but today it's just that you're sober today, so therefore you can think and then you can put your opinion across the board plainfully and in a respectable manner. So yeah guys, so where do we start? Obviously we will start with Cardoso. Yesterday, as I said in that video of last night, I was disappointed in him. I felt like the players he started with, he decided to do things which I think are not in the same league as a person who's in that league. He's in the league of one of the best coaches in Africa, because yeah, obviously in Europe he's not one of the best coaches, he's considered just to be an average coach, but yeah, in Africa, because yeah, we are backwarded in some way, he's considered to be one of the best coaches in Africa. What he did yesterday was clearly not in the same level where you'll think Cardoso is. For instance, we start from the back. Williams, I have no issue with Williams. Williams is our number one goalkeeper, and then therefore there was no other goalkeeper who would have played. And then on the left hand side he played Modiba. Modiba is a good guy. Even Ulunga, you can never see the difference between Ulunga and Modiba who is in, because it doesn't matter who starts, we always produce the same results. And then you go inside the center back. He played Lebusa and Kekana. Look, I think by now, I think it's a fact that Kekana is his number one. Everyone else comes after Kekana, because no matter how many mistakes Kekana does, he always finds himself in the starting 11. And then therefore you go, and then Lebusa. Look, I have no issues with Lebusa. Lebusa is a good center back, and he always comes in, and whenever he's called upon, he always comes in, then he produces A level. So again, I have no issues with that. You could have started Mvale, could have started Kipedu, you could have started Lebusa, it doesn't matter. But here is my question. Umbala got injured last year. I think we were playing in Morocco in the Champions League, and ever since then he hasn't played again. I don't know, maybe Miguel Cardoso feels like Mvala is old, or Mvala is not producing the same results we think he is producing in training, which he used to produce in games, in official games. So I don't know why Mvala hasn't played. Mvala hasn't played in a long time, and I haven't even heard them that they said maybe he's playing in a TDC game just to keep match fit. Mbala hasn't played in a long time. Hopefully this season that thing changes, because we all know how much Mbala gives in for Mamelodi Sundowns. And maybe the reason Kekana is doing so many mistakes is because Mbala is no longer there now to cover him, because Mbala used to cover Kekana. No matter how much I might not admit to say it, but Mbala was the backbone of that defense. He was the guy who made sure that even Williams was protected, and that guy, he used to he reminds me of John Terry in his days at Chelsea Football Club. Mbala is that kind of a player who gives you 150% in every game. That's why sometimes you find that he scores on goals which are ununderstandable, because he's always there. He's always using his head. He's always there in that 18 area, always trying to fight for the team. So I don't know why he's not playing. Maybe the injury is not yet, it has not yet healed. I don't know, but he's still not playing. So he played Lebusa, and then after a while he changed Lebusa and played the guy called Kipedu, which only arrived in January. Again, I have no issues with Kipedu, because he was marvelous against Richards Bay. But if you remember what I said against Richards Bay, I'm gonna repeat it. I said against Richards Bay, the Richards Bay didn't attack us. They never attacked us. But yesterday, Chippa United had some chances, especially on the right. They did produce some chances on the right. So that's why I'm saying we might say that against the Richards Bay that defense was top notch, but you find that it simply means it's simply because they did not attack. That's the only reason why we managed to keep. Was the clean sheet? Yeah, it was a clean sheet. We managed to keep a clean sheet for nil. Was because the Richards Bay were not attacking, while as Chippa attacked us from the word go. If you watch that game, for the first 10 minutes, Chippa on top of us for the first 10 minutes, and then obviously we managed to get the game on the scruff of the neck. But again, you look at the ball position we had, but you look at the chances we created. there was not clear-cut chances for Ikram Raynes, showing that even though we had the ball, we still couldn't cut through the midfield of Chippa United. Why? Because I felt like we didn't have number 10. You know, when you have that original number 10, the likes of Zwane, we didn't have that player. So that's why I would say that's the issue. That's where the issue started. But still on the defense, and then we played, and then on the right we played Pasatin. Look, Pasatin is a left back. He can play also left center back. I have never seen Pasatin in my entire life playing a right center back or right back for that matter. Yes, we have issues with Mudau. Yes, Mdunyelwa was not feeling okay, but he wasn't injured. He was just not, because he managed to come in the second half and then he played the entire 45 minutes and at a time. So what does that mean? That means he could have started the game. Now, why did our coach decide, no, let me rather play Pasatin first? Why did he do that? He should have never played Pasatin first. He should have played Mdunyelwa first. And then if Mdunyelwa is struggling, then he can bring in Pasatin. Then therefore he can say to us as coaches and journalists, no, look, guys, the reason I took out Mdunyelwa was because Mdunyelwa was struggling, and he had told me before the game that he was not feeling well. But due to the fact that I did not have another right back apart from him and Mudau, I played him. But then, as I've mentioned, he didn't feel well, so I decided to take him out because he was struggling and put in Pasatin. Then it will be understandable. But what does Cardoso do? He starts with the left back, then the left back is struggling because obviously that's not his position. He brings in Mdunyelwa in the second half. Yeah, that's what he did. And if you watch that entire game, guys, how did Chippa gain his strength in that game? They were using the right back. They were using our right back, which is the left side, because they realized that, look, this guy is not a natural right back. He's a left back. He's a makeshift in that position. Let's attack that position. Let's attack that position. That's where the majority of their chances were coming from. We also we go to midfield. Look, our midfield are always boss games. We always control games through our midfield. Our midfield is good. You look at our midfield, you even look at our substitution in midfield. They would start in other clubs. You look at Mbule starting now at Orlando Pirates because he couldn't start at Sundowns. You look at Miami, you look at Mkulis. Our midfield is bolstered. You look at Opas. But yesterday, even though we control the midfield, our midfield couldn't just create chances. And you must remember this thing in football. It's the midfield that creates chances. It's not the defenders, it's not the strikers. It's the midfield. If the midfield controls the balls, then that means if they have the ball, that means they have ample amount of times to create chances. But we didn't. Do you want to know why we didn't create those chances? It simply is because our number 10 was Jaden Adams. And then when we defended, he played a double 8s with Iand. You understand what I mean? We have number 10, a national number 10, Zwane, was on the bench. He came in the 65th minute. I am 100% sure Zwane is fit. Zwane is match fit. Why didn't he start in that game? He came in the 65 minutes. Look at how many chances we created. There's that one where he gives in. Where I think, who was it? He gave a pass with, I think it was Mabena or Lethlaku. He gave a pass with his what do you call this thing? With back pass. It was a back pass. Yeah, it was a back pass. Bah! Back pass. Now, why didn't he start? Why wasn't he there from the beginning to create those chances? Maybe we could have created 10 chances and probably Raynes could have buried 2-1. And then the score would have been 2-0. And then what does that mean? Chippa United would have chased the game and we would have managed to score another third one. He started him on the game against the Richards Bay and it worked well. What does he decide to do? Look, I'm not going to start him on the next game. That's Cardoso for you because he feels like he's the boss of the club. I don't know. Look, in honest truth, I don't think that guy is going to last in this team. We move. Why didn't that guy start? Mukwena, Ayende, Adams, and Zwane. It would have been easy. And then our strikers, because he loves Silas so much, and then he plays Silas and and Sales and Raynes. Nothing against Sales. Sales was good yesterday. He was actually the only player I felt like he was worth a while watching amongst all of those players who started. He was the only one I felt like he was doing something. He was the only one I felt like he was representing that badge beautifully. And what were the other guys doing? I have no idea. You know, Mourinho once said, if I speak, I prefer not to speak. Me too, I also prefer not to speak about the other players, what they were doing. And then we go up front. As I've already mentioned, Silas was good. He produced marvelous results, and Sales and Raynes didn't get any chances. So, and the only reason Silas was good was because every time we were defending, he will track back, because he was playing in midfield when we were defending, then striker when we were attacking. He will track back, fetch the ball, and go with it to the front to go and create chances. But those chances could have been created because he was the only one who was working, and that entire team was closing him down because they knew Adams is not in natural number 10. Yeah, and then we go to his substitution. Took out Salas, as I mentioned, and then he put in, who's this guy? He put in Lethlaku. We just had, just a few days ago, that Lethlaku had headed in a transfer request. There's apparently a club which wants him in Portugal. Those news came from Mazola Machola, yeah, came from him. That there's a club, and even Lorenzo Colli reported that there's a club in Portugal which wants him, and Lethlaku had handed in a transfer request because he felt like his chances were limited. But I thought Shalulile had also done the same thing. So if you can play Lethlaku, but you can't play Shalulile, and yet these two players are going through the same thing, what does that say? I watched this guy throughout Club World Cup. I watched this guy throughout last season. This guy doesn't like Shalulile. It's an honest truth. There's a personal vendetta from him against Shalulile. I don't know what it is, but he hates Shalulile because give me the perfect explanation why he didn't play Shalulile yesterday. Shalulile is one goal away from beating Usiyabonga Nomvete's record. He's one goal away. Why won't you play him until he leaves, if he is leaving? Why? He didn't play him, decided to play Lethlaku, a youngster, while we are chasing the game. He also bought in Riebero, as I said, which did good, nothing bad. Bought in Zwane, also did good, nothing bad. That, as far as I remember, the substitutions we had. So, if this is how we're gonna go this entire season, I have bad news for Cardoso. He's not gonna finish the season, I promise you. He's not gonna finish the season. And the moment the players revolt against him, it don't matter which player he plays, because players respect him as one in that changing room, respect Shalulile in that changing room, respect Rowan Williams in that. Once those three players turn against you, you better be rest assured the entire changing room is gonna be against you. It doesn't matter who you play. So he must be careful. He must be careful of his selections. He must be careful of how he treats these old players. I'm not saying play them in every game, but look at it this way: you play Zwane, we win 3-0, 4-0. I meant, and then the next game you don't play him, we throw 1-1. Do you know what message is that sending to the players? That okay, when Zwane is not there, that means the team is not taking well. But why is the coach then dropping him? Rumors start going on in the changing room. Players start believing that you have no idea what you're doing, which is obviously the truth. I felt that from the beginning, because this guy is not even playing our normal shoeshine piano football style. He has come in with his style of scope and jack. It's called scope and jack. I don't know what in the language. You kick the ball as far as forward and you chase it. That's his style of play. And then he tells us that's the North African football style of play. We're not North Africans. We're not big and physique. We're small. We love to play the ball like Spanish people do. That's our style. That's why Jose Riebero fit in very well at Paris, because he knew the style of play of Spain would fit in very well in South Africa, and then it did. It did perfectly well. Yeah, guys. So as already we move from Cardoso, as already mentioned from Lethlaku. Yeah, there have been rumors that he has submitted in a transfer request. I don't know if Mamelodi Sundowns will accept that, because as you know with Mamelodi Sundowns, we're not in need of money. That's why we always place a high fee on our assets. Meaning that if you really want our player, then you must give us the money, because we are not a selling club. We are a club which wants to win things. And the only way to win things, you must have the best players and the best replacements on the bench. So this club called, I don't know what the club is called, but if they are serious about him, then most definitely they're going to have to cough up some good money, And then the Mudau situation. I wish the thing it's solved quicker than later, because look, after watching that game yesterday, I can rest assured tell you that if Mudau, that this thing of his is not solved, we're going to be in big problem. We're going to be in a big problem in that right back, because if you saw what Chipa did yesterday, how they exploited that right back position, the same thing is going to happen the entire season. Teams are going to realize, look, if you want to beat Sundowns, attack the right back, because the right back, they're not well. We are not well equipped. Yeah, that's the right word I would use. We are not well equipped on the right back, meaning that we can be exploited from that position, because that's what they're gonna do. So fix the Mudau issue, or if you're not gonna fix the Mudau issue, go get the same right back as good as Mudau, with the same potential as Mudau. Simple as that. Because I don't think Mdunyelwa will ever reach that level of Mudau. It's gonna be years if it does. It's gonna take a lot of hard work too. Yeah, and then this thing of Shalulile. Okay, so Shalulile was part of the bench. When a player is part of the bench, it means he's ready to be used, because you cannot put him on the bench if he's not ready to be used. Meaning that this thing of Esperance, it might be dying out, or they were just trying to show Esperance what they're missing, which we failed on that. We failed on doing that, because why didn't he play? Because he didn't play. If we were trying to showcase him to Esperance, he should have played. He should have actually started the game, so they can see, wow, what Shalulile is capable of, and then they can raise the bar of the money which they're willing to give Mamelodi Sundowns for his services. Same thing as Zwane. I'm sad that he didn't start the game, but as mentioned before, I wish he could have started the game, because he started against Richards Bay and we created a lot of chances and we scored 4. So they should have done the same thing in this game. Yeah, and Pirates also lost, so I'm a bit happy about that, because I know they are the only club. Them, Pirates, Sekhukhune, and Stellenbosch, they are the only clubs who have any potential of challenging Mamelodi Sundowns. So I'm only gonna watch Stellenbosch now, and for the first time, I have to be honest, I'll actually be supporting Kaizer Chiefs, because I know Stellenbosch, when the league is about to end, they'll be up there. Them, Sekhukhune, and Olwando Pirates. So therefore, and Sekhukhune has already picked up 3 points. Because if you have to be honest, that's the top 4 of South African football. Us, Sekhukhune, Stellenbosch, and Olwando Pirates. That's the top 4 of South African football. Season after season, that's our top 4. So hopefully, I'll be looking at that just to see how. I wish Kaizer Chiefs wins that game. I'm not lying, because I know Kaizer Chiefs are not going to be in the top 4. They'll be battling for the top 8. So you want those teams. So as we have already through, Pirates lost. Sekhukhune is the only one who won. I wouldn't want Stellenbosch to win also. Yeah, guys. So that's it for today. Love and leave you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified once a new video has been uploaded. Yeah, guys. I'll probably do another one before going to sleep, just to finalize the entire weekend's game. Thank you. Love you.